BTS Jin breaks record. Over 800 million Spotify streams for solo track. In the constantly shifting landscape of the global music industry, where viral trends often dictate the charts, longevity and genuine connection are the true markers of a superstar. Seokjin, known to the world simply as Jin of BTS, has once again proven his undeniable influence as a solo artist. According to an official announcement from Big Hit Music on Tuesday, Jin has generated a staggering 800 million plays on Spotify, the world's largest music streaming platform, with his solo track, Don't Say You Love Me. Alongside this streaming milestone, he has also amassed an impressive 10 million followers on the platform, cementing his status as a powerhouse in the digital music space. The track, Don't Say You Love Me, is described as a soft R&B pop number tinged with nostalgic retro vibes, a sound that perfectly complements Jin's emotive vocal style. Released in May as the lead single from his second solo album, Echo, the song has resonated deeply with global audiences. It achieved significant commercial success, ranking at number 90 on Billboard's Hot 100. Furthermore, in 2025, it became the first song by an Asian artist to claim the #1 spot on Spotify's Top Songs global chart, a historic achievement that highlights the expanding reach of K-pop soloists. His EP Echo also saw remarkable performance, sitting at number 3 on the Billboard 200, with its 7 tracks collectively garnering over 1.1 billion streams on Spotify. Adding to the excitement surrounding the group, all 7 members of the superband were spotted together on Monday at Incheon Airport. The full lineup was en route to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, marking a significant moment for fans who have eagerly awaited group activities. Seeing the members together again serves as a powerful reminder of the bond that exists between them, a bond that has weathered unprecedented fame and individual challenges. However, to simply look at the number, 800 million streams, is to miss the profound human story buried beneath the statistics. These numbers are not just algorithmic success, they are the result of a journey defined by quiet resilience, hidden struggles, and a determination that defied the odds. To understand the weight of Jin's success today, one must look past the world-class titles and the sold-out stadiums to find the story of a young man who was never supposed to be a singer in the first place. The narrative of Seokjin is a study in the art of becoming. Unlike many of his contemporaries in the K-pop industry, Jin was not a child prodigy who spent his toddler years dancing in front of a mirror. He was not an underground rapper spitting verses in the alleys of Daegu, nor was he a street dancer battling in Gwangju. He was an ordinary university student attending the prestigious Konkuk University, studying acting. His dream was to inhabit characters on a screen, to hide behind a script, not to stand exposed on a stage in front of millions. His entry into big hit entertainment is often retold as a charming anecdote, but the reality behind it carries a heavy emotional weight. He was scouted on the street while stepping off a bus, stopped purely because of his striking, undeniable physical beauty. He was recruited for his face. In an industry that commodifies image, being the visual recruit is often a double-edged sword. It carries the silent, stinging implication that you are there to be looked at, not to be heard. When Jin walked into the practice room for the first time, he stepped into a world where he was a foreigner. He had no background in dance. He had no professional vocal training. He was surrounded by trainees who moved with instinctive rhythm and sang with raw, unpolished soul. Imagine the profound isolation of that moment. He was the eldest trainee, the math young, a title that in Korean culture carries a heavy burden of responsibility and authority. He was expected to lead, to be the pillar of strength. Yet, in terms of skill, he was starting from zero. Industry sources and early documentary footage reveal a young man who had to deconstruct himself entirely. While the younger members picked up choreography with natural ease, Jin had to learn how to count the beat. While the main vocalists experimented with runs and ad-libs, He had to learn how to breathe properly. There is a specific haunting kind of loneliness in being the imposter in a room full of geniuses. He was often the one lagging behind, the one receiving the harshest corrections, and the one who had to stay late into the night, repeating the same movement thousands of times until his body ached, just to ensure he wouldn't ruin the formation. The psychological toll of this dynamic was immense. 4 years, Jin battled a silent, internal war against the fear of inadequacy. He lived with the terrifying thought that he was holding the team back, that he was the weak link in a chain of steel. In his solo track Awake, released years into their career, he finally gave the world a glimpse into this private darkness. The lyrics were a heartbreaking confession. He sang about how he might not be able to fly like the flower petals, a metaphor for his talented members, but that he would continue to run, continue to struggle, just to stay by their side. It was a declaration of love born of deep insecurity. He essentially confessed that he felt ordinary in a group of extraordinary people, and that his only choice was to work harder than anyone else to bridge that gap. This struggle was compounded by the responsibilities he shouldered off-camera. During the group's rookie days, when money was scarce and the future was a blur of anxiety, Jin took it upon himself to be the caretaker. Verified accounts from the members themselves reveal that Jin would use his own allowance, money supported by his family, to buy ingredients and cook meals for the group. At a time when the company's budget was tight and food was limited, it was Jin who ensured his younger brothers were fed. He drove the youngest member, Jungkook, to school, acting as a guardian in a chaotic city. He absorbed the stress of their uncertainty. When the group faced ridicule, rejection, or the looming threat of disbandment in those early years, Jin became the emotional buffer. He adopted a persona of humor, using his now famous dad jokes and exaggerated confidence to lighten the heavy atmosphere. He laughed so that the younger members wouldn't have to cry. He made himself look silly so that the tension in the room would break. But behind those jokes was a man who was often awake at night, wondering if his best was good enough, wondering if he truly belonged on that stage. There is a profound sacrifice in becoming the person who always smiles for the sake of others. It requires burying your own fears so deep that no one else can see them. For a long time, the public underestimated Jin. They saw the handsome face and the jokes, and they missed the grit. They didn't see the extra vocal lessons he took in secret. They didn't see the notebooks filled with lyrics as he tried to find his own voice as a songwriter. They didn't see the sheer will it took to transform from an acting student who couldn't sing into the silver voice that now anchors the group's most emotional ballads. Even after achieving massive success, the shadow of self-doubt did not vanish instantly. In a letter released with his song Abyss, Jin opened up about experiencing severe burnout even as the group reached #1 on the Billboard charts. He questioned whether he deserved such joy, feeling small and anxious while the world treated him as a giant. This vulnerability showed that his battle was not just about skill, but about self-worth. It humanized him in a way that no award ever could. However, the turning point in his narrative is not just his success, but his self-acceptance. The song Epiphany became an anthem not just for his fans, but for himself. Standing in the rain on stage, singing, "I'm the one I should love," Jin wasn't just performing, he was healing. He realized that his effort, his kindness, and his existence were enough. His resilience was proven yet again during his mandatory military service. As the first member to enlist, facing the uncertainty of a hiatus, he excelled. Reports confirmed that he served as an assistant drill instructor, a role reserved for the most disciplined soldiers. Even without the cameras and the makeup, Seokjin proved he was a leader. Now, as Don't Say You Love Me surpasses 800 million streams, the number represents more than just popularity. It represents validation. It is the sound of millions of people listening to the voice of a man who once feared he didn't have one. The respect he commands today is deep and reverent because it is earned through invisible labor. Fans love him not because he was born a star, but because he fought to become one while remaining kind, humble, and fiercely protective of his family. As we see him at the airport, heading to Dubai with his members, we see a man who has walked a long, difficult road. He sacrificed his youth, his privacy, and his ego to build something greater than himself. And in the quiet moments, when the music fades, that is why the world respects Jin. He taught us that you don't have to be the fastest to win the race. You just have to keep walking, even when you are afraid. His landing on the global stage is soft, but it is firm, rooted in a decade of patience, love, and the courage to finally believe in himself.